Off the pitch, let's talk about football, a podcast for fans who believe football isn't just a sport, it's a passion. Hosted by Fernanda Bergues. Hi Nick, thank you for coming. It's a pleasure for me interview you, and also this is my first episode, so it's very special. So many thanks for being here.
No problem. Glad to be a part of it.
Well, Nick is the football general manager of the men's Cardiff football team.
Mm-hmm.
First, I want to start talking about what is this job title? What are your main responsibilities? What do you do every day when you arrive here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, so the role of general manager is quite a broad role, quite a varied role. So my role is to manage and lead the day-to-day operations of the football club. So it allows the players to concentrate on playing football and the coaching staff to concentrate on coaching. And so I take care of all the off-field things. So whether that's the finances, whether that's kind of the operations on a match day, doing a big push at the minute to try and increase and improve the fan experience on match days as well. So that comes under my remit. Looking at the commercial aspect of the football club and how we can improve the commercial aspect of the football club and bring in more sponsors and more partners. So yeah, really varied. Lots to keep me busy, but it just takes away all the stresses that could interfere with players and coaches. They don't have to worry about anything like that. They just have to focus on training and match days so they can perform there.
So you have lots of tasks and responsibilities every day.
Yeah, lots of different ones. Yeah. So always something keeping me busy. That's for sure. Yeah.
And how was your journey to become a football manager? How this idea emerged? You always wanted to be a football manager, or how this job title developed?
So no, I hadn't always wanted to be one. So I've always loved football. Football has always been the sport that I've been passionate about, and I've played since I was about 4 years old. Always been playing for a team. So yeah, I've always loved football. I went to university and studied sports science.
Where?
I went to Swansea, so we'll keep that quiet. But yeah, I went to Swansea. So went there, studied sports science. Really enjoyed the sports psychology side of sports science, and through that wanted to become a sports psychologist. So I did a master's in sports psychology at Loughborough. But then when I was kind of approaching the end of my studies, I realised I wanted to kind of get out and work. So I took a job with Help for Heroes, who are a charity that help military veterans. And that was really more of a sports development role and using the power of sport to help people with their recovery journeys. Through that, I was fortunate enough to get involved with a program called the Invictus Games, which is like a international sporting competition for military veterans around the world. So I was part of Team UK for that. And that got me involved in the kind of the sports management industry. And then after that, I went to Bath Rugby, so I was involved in professional rugby for a bit. They were my hometown club, and yeah, it was a dream come true to work with them. I was there for a couple of years, but always wanted to get involved in the world and in the sport of football. And so this job came up about a year ago, about 12 months ago. And I was fortunate enough to get it. So that's kind of been my journey into kind of the sports management world. A little bit kind of varied, and yeah, I went down a few different paths. But yeah, we're really happy that I'm in this industry.
Yeah, definitely. You have like a long career, a long path to become a football manager. But before I start to talk about Cardiff Met and the football team, I want to ask you, did you support when you were a child or now any other football club?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
you can say which one? Or?
Yeah, it depends if we judge for it. So yeah, I'm a Manchester United fan.
Oh, really?
I am. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a tough few years for being a Manchester United fan. fan. But yeah, they've always been my team. So yeah.
Oh, I think we are enemies because I always support Liverpool. So
Well, I'll leave now. Then, yeah.
no, please. Perfect. So tell me, how was so far the football Met team this season?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, doing well. So within the Bucks programs, both men's and women's are having a decent season. So yeah, kind of second and third. So yeah. Where we roughly want to be. Obviously, we'd love to be top, but appreciate that the leagues that they're in, they're both in the top flight leagues in the south. So, yeah, appreciate that it's a tough old league. So, yeah, we're in there or thereabouts. Looking forward to the knockout rounds, which will take place kind of after Christmas. Hopefully, we can go on a bit of a run and do better than we did last season, and potentially challenge for national titles. I think that's the objective within the club. Very, very tough to win that competition, but yeah, definitely kind of want to be there or thereabouts. So yeah, who knows? Football is a great sport. You can be one wrong decision away from winning something. So yeah, we'll see what happens kind of post Christmas.
Could you explain me in which leagues are playing now the men's football team, and how are organized these leagues? Because I understand they're playing Bucks, they play in the Kimbrough League, and I don't know if in another league.
Yeah, so the football club is a massive operation. So you touched on some of the teams there. So we have our men's first team that compete in the Cymru Premier League. So that's a league that has all the top teams in Wales that compete nationally against each other. So that's a semi-professional league. So we've actually got a game for that side tonight, this evening. So we've got Britain Ferry at home. So within that league, we're doing okay. So we're sixth at the minute. The way the league works is you play everyone twice, and then the league splits in half, and then you'll play kind of if you finish in the top six or bottom six, you'll play everyone again. So hopefully we'll finish in that top six, and we'll be there for potentially qualifying for European competition. For the women's side, they're in the Adran South League, which is the second tier of Welsh football. So they're doing really well at the minute. They're top of the table, and hopefully they'll get promoted back to the top flight next season. That's the aim. We'll see what happens. Again, it's a difficult league to get out of, but hopefully we'll be there or thereabouts. We've then also got the Bucks program, like you mentioned, and these competitions are just for students within the university, and so we have both the men's and the women's compete in the Southern Premier Division. The way those leagues work is that kind of before Christmas and early January, you'll play everyone twice, and then depending on where you finish, you'll go into the national competition against universities from the north of England and Scotland and compete to try and become national kind of champions of the Bucks competition. And then we also have an academy set up for our boys and girls teams as well. So we have teams from under 8, so 7-8-year-olds, right the way up to under 19. So we have kind of age groups right the way up. So yeah, you can imagine there's lots of teams involved in the football club. And yeah, it's great that they're all playing, and hopefully we'll get some success this year.
So just for clarify this for me, you are also manager, or do you have also like a job with the female team?
Less so. So my role is primarily focused around the men's provision, but naturally because the club is one club, so the women's program feeds in with the men's program. So naturally I have some responsibilities with the women's team. So kind of making sure that we achieve our licenses for next season falls under my remit, and kind of managing the operations of that side as well. So yeah, have involvement with the women's provision as well.
Is now any player that it could be a woman or a man that is stand out, and why?
Oh, it's a good question. Who's the standouts? I have to be careful in case any of them are listening. And then we've got lots of good players, obviously. The men's and women's having a really good season, and like I said, the Bucks provisions are going really well this season. I think standouts, perhaps some of our new players this year. So within the men's space, we signed Thumpa Mwande, who was a full-time professional out in Canada a few years ago. He then played at Connors Quay last season, has come to Cardiff Met this season, so he plays in our first team that compete in the Cymru Premier League. He's going really, really well. He's also studying here at Cardiff Met University, so it's a nice story that he's kind of managing and balancing his football commitments with also kind of studying here at the university. So he's going really well. But yeah, lots and lots of good players across both setups.
Actually, that is my next question. I want to know about how these players study a professional career, because every single person that passed for a university know how difficult it is to study and graduate, and at the same time being a professional athlete. So I want to ask, how many of the players are studying, how many are not studying? What do you know about this experience of studying and being a professional athlete at the same time?
Yeah, it's a great question. And so within our Bucks program, so to play in the Bucks competition, you have to be a student. So all the players in the Bucks teams are students. But then for the men's and women's first teams, you don't have to be a student to play for those teams. So within the men's team, probably about 60-70% are still students and play within that Cymru Premier squad. Within the women's first team, you've probably got about 90% that are students that play in that team as well. So we still have a very high proportion of student athletes within our team, and it's a real selling point for the club. That's what makes us different to the other teams that compete in the top flight of Welsh football. There's no other club in Wales where you can study and get an education, but then also be a semi-professional athlete and compete at the highest kind of level of football within Wales, and potentially then compete in European competition. We've got aspirations to compete in kind of the UEFA Conference League and the UEFA Champions League within the women's space as well. So there's a real uniqueness to this club, and that is our selling point. But going back to your question about how they manage their time, it is really, really tricky. And some people are better at it than others, don't get me wrong. But we do a lot of work with the wider university team and kind of the performance services team to map out training schedules for players to make sure that they're not interfering with their study. We're conscious that there will be deadlines at certain times of the year, so we appreciate at the minute it's probably quite a tough time for those students with lots of deadlines and coursework handing dates due. So we try our best to manage that. We'll also manage their workload and their training workload as well. So if a player has played a lot of minutes, for example, in the last couple of weeks, then we may leave them out of the Bucks squad that week so that they kind of able to have a rest. Equally, if they haven't played much and they've been on the bench perhaps for the Welsh Prem side a few times, then actually we might let them play in the Bucks team and top up their minutes so that they're kind of maintaining their fitness. So it's a lot of communication between the coaching staff and the performance services teams just to make sure that we're managing their workloads. Don't always get it right. Hold our hands up to that one, but we do our best to try and kind of make sure that they're topped up and still raring to go for all the games that we've got.
I think this is very new for football, and I think for most of sports, because as a South American, I know that most of football professional players, they don't even have the opportunity to finish the school. I don't want to talk a superior education because it's even hard. Mm-hmm. So for one side, I think it's great that they have this opportunity. And for the other, I cannot imagine the level of discipline that you have to have for do these two things at the same time. Do you notice some difference between a player that have the opportunity to finish an honor degree and a player that do not have the opportunity to?
I think it depends on the player. I think if you compare some of our players to perhaps players in the Cymru Premier League itself, there's definitely a difference in personality. We will either attract kind of youngsters who have maybe been released from professional academy setups. So we have a lot of players from Cardiff City, Swansea City, for example, who are then looking at coming here to still play a high standard of football, but also to getting an education as well, because they realise that that's important for them, whereas perhaps at other clubs they're not necessarily interested in that education. And then we've started attracting players now who perhaps have been playing professional football for a few years but have now realised that actually that's a very short career and they need to have something else, another string to their bow, and they need to have an education that they can rely on and utilise when they retire. So the type of player we attract is perhaps someone who's forward thinking and looking to the future as to actually kind of what is my life going to be after football. And so that's great for us because we're attracting a mature individual who's ready to come to university and focus on their education, but they still want to take their football seriously, and that's only a benefit to us.
Talking about education, but more in value terms, does the Cardiff Met team have special values? And if the answer is yes, which are these values, and how do you talk about them with the coach or with the players?
Yes, I think a bit of work that we did. So when I joined last year, if you looked at the first team dressing room, so the dressing room that our men's and women's teams use on a home match day, so that's located inside Nyack, and the changing room felt it could have been a changing room anywhere. There was no personality to it, there was no kind of branding, there was nothing that when you walked in you would go, wow, this is Cardiff Met's dressing room. It just felt like a dressing room that was in any leisure centre, really. So some work that we've done over the past year is to try and change that, to make it feel more like a home dressing room and to try and showcase some of our values. So over the summer we kind of renovated the changing rooms, and we've kind of given them fresh lick of paint and kind of new showers and stuff, but we've also introduced the club colours in there, and players now have their individual kind of lockers that they can sit at, so it makes them feel kind of more professional first and foremost. But then we've also added kind of along the top, the club value of the club comes first, and that's a big part of who we are as a club. It's not about the individuals. Ultimately, we're a side that is here because the club has come first, and people have put aside their individual differences to help drive the club forward. We're always seen as the underdogs within the league because we started out as a group of students that were good at football and have progressed through the league, but that's only because we've always put the club first. And so that's a motto that we're really trying to instill within our players and hopefully carry on for years to come.
So I don't know if called like a slogan, but this phrase of the club come first, it's like you need to get away of your difference. You need to forget, I don't know, the things that can pass in a changing room or during a match, because the team, the group come first. It's something like that.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm sure you know footballers
have
an ego, and that's what makes them great players and great athletes. And sometimes there'll be disagreements within the squad and within the staff and players, and that's fine. That's healthy within a team. But ultimately, we need to come back to that motto that actually the club comes first. And if we want to achieve something, you sometimes you have got to put aside your differences. You've got to put aside your ego, and you've got to say, actually, no, I'm going to sacrifice myself for the club, and that's what we want to try and instill within our players.
In terms of passion, I don't know if you have some statistics or some numbers about how many supporters come when Cardiff Met is playing at home or as a local. How many supporters do you normally receive in each match?
Yeah, so
in every match.
That's something that we're working really hard to try and improve over the coming years. So when I joined last year, so last season, for example, I think we were within the Cymru Prem space. I don't have the statistics for the women's games, but for the men's games, we're competing in the Cymru Premier Division. Last season, I think we averaged about 287 fans at home games, and that put us probably about 11th in the league out of 12 of in attendance figures, which obviously isn't very high, and it's something that we want to do more of and attract more fans to our home games so that we're playing in front of large crowds. We're located in the capital city of Wales, in Cardiff, so we know there's fans on our doorstep. It's how do we capture them and get them coming to King Coyd regularly. So that's a big part of what we're trying to do over the coming seasons. This season we've seen a slight increase in attendance figures, so we're averaging about 320 at the minute for home games, which is great. A 40 people increase from last season, so that's pushed us up. We're about kind of 7th or 8th within the league table now, which is great from that, but we want to do more, and kind of an example of that is that this season we hosted our first fan zone, which was an event that we put on for a game against Penabont, and we had live music, we had kind of pop-up street food, we had pop-up clothing stalls, and just try to do something different to attract fans to come to us that's not just football related, and that was really, really positive, worked really well, and we had our record attendance for a Cymru Premier game this season, so that was 738. So that's the sort of numbers we want to get to kind of on a more regular basis, but of course that's gonna take time. But yeah, those are the sort of numbers we'd love to get to.
It sounds like a big number, so I hope keep increasing with the time. A couple of weeks ago, I went to a strategy launch of the football's team, and I want to ask to you about what is this strategy launch, like the main points, because I think you are like very focused in continue developing everything about football with both teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so a couple of weeks ago we hosted our club strategy launch. So as part of the Cymru Premier League, each club was tasked with creating a 5-year development plan, which outlined kind of the direction of travel that you want the club to take over the next 5 years. And so Chris Baker, the director of football, has put together a really robust and solid plan for the club going forward over the next 5 years, and we showcased that off down at the Millennium Centre in Cardiff. And it's a really exciting time for the club. We really want to take this club forward, and we recognise that we're in a really unique position to do that. The league is expanding next year. There's going to be a rebrand of the league, so it's a really exciting time for Welsh football. There's lots of ambitious ideas amongst the other clubs within the league as well, so it's making sure that we're at the forefront of that as well. We're not kind of getting left behind. So kind of our objectives over the next 5 years is to really kind of make inroads with the direction of travel that we're making and develop the club further. So we touched on it in some of our earlier points, but increasing the fan attendances is one aspect of what we want to do. We want to increase the amount of revenue that we're generating through commercial sponsors and partners. We want to attract more students to the university as well. The university is a massive supporter of the football club. We can use the football club to showcase the power and the excellence of the university as well. So we want to attract more students to the university to come here because of the football club. We just want to help grow the football club so that we're a real force within Welsh football. So without going into the specific, that's probably the crux of that 5-year development plan.
You know that as a foreigner, I am really surprised how a university can have a professional football team that is competing in a in the Kimberley, like for me, it's like wow, like I don't know if this is very common here in the United Kingdom. It is or it is not.
No, so we're very unique, really. So there are other examples of universities that have teams that compete in kind of professional, semi-professional leagues. So there's a university in Ireland that've got a team in the second division of Irish football. The Hartpury University, so in England, have a team that compete in the lower leagues of English football, but kind of not in the top flight of English football. Stirling University up in Scotland also have a team that compete in the lower league of Scottish football. And there was a team in Mexico that started out as a university side, and kind of Pumas. They started out as a university side, and then now they're fully professional and huge club. So I think that's a few years off where we are at the minute. But in terms of where we are as a football club, we're certainly unique within the UK footballing structure, and probably there's not many teams like us kind of globally as well. And so, like I said before, it's a real selling point for us. It's what makes us different to other clubs. A lot of clubs don't like that fact that we've started out as a university team, and so we're not seen as a proper football club, and we get a lot of stick from rival fans for that. But we see it as a real selling point for us, and it's what makes us different. And if we can really showcase that uniqueness, it will help us in the long run, definitely.
Talking about football in general, how are you seeing football in Wales? Because I think rugby is also very popular here, and I don't know which sport is more popular than the other, but I think, this is my opinion, I don't know if I am in the correct thing, but I think football is now having more protagonism. The Wales national team is one step to qualify to the World Cup. I remember the last match, I think, was 7-1 against Macedonia.
North Macedonia,
So tell me, how are you seeing the football in terms of popularity in Wales now?
Yeah, it's a really interesting one. And Wales has always had a massive rugby culture, and as a rugby fan, it's always been a huge part of life being a Welshman. And unfortunately, I think the times are changing now, and that football was always the kind of second, third sport within Wales, and rugby was the only sport. But now, with the popularity of Welsh football, popularity of the Premier League, and kind of the success of some of the teams recently, as you mentioned, that kind of Wales men's qualified for the World Cup recently, it's really propelled the sport of football within Wales. And so I think there was a study by Sport Wales last year that said that the participation figures in football are now higher than they are in rugby for the first time ever within Wales. So it is changing, and I would say football probably is the number one sport within Wales. I think, unfortunately, the rugby team are kind of not in a successful period at the minute, and there's a lot of kind of off-field headlines at the minute, which certainly isn't helping the sport of rugby. That's pushing people towards football as well, and the success that the men's and the women's teams are having, it's only going to encourage more people to play football. So the sport of football within Wales is definitely growing, and I think you can see that in terms of the direction of travel that the FAW want to take the sport. They really want to improve the divisions and the leagues within Wales to help develop the next pathway of talent for both national sides. And unfortunately, rugby is on the decline at the minute. I'm sure at some point it will turn the corner and kind of come back up, and the popularity will increase. And rugby will always be a massive part of Welsh culture. But football is certainly riding high at the minute within Wales.
And what do you expect from the Welsh team in the World Cup?
Well, you need to get there first. I think that's the difficulty. So obviously, with the playoffs, they've got Bosnia at home. I think we're fortunate we've got 2 home games. So if we have to beat Bosnia at home, then we've got Northern Ireland or Italy at home as well. So Wales are a different side at home, and the crowd play a massive part in the success. And yeah, they'll definitely fancy themselves being at home. I think Bosnia are a tricky side. Firstly, it's going to be really, really tough to get past them. And then if we're to get past them, I think a one-off tie against Italy is really, really tough as well, considering their success. But on the flip side, I don't think they're going to fancy coming to Cardiff and playing a one-off game against us. So yeah, it'll be tricky. I suspect it may be a step too far to qualify for the World Cup, unfortunately, if I've got my pragmatic hat on. But I'd love it if they were to qualify, and it'd be a fantastic experience if they were to get to another World Cup.
Perfect. Thank you very much,
No,
Nick, for being here. I really enjoyed this interview. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, really good fun. Thank you.
Maybe next time we can do it again, because I want to ask more things.
Definitely.
Thank you, Nick. See you.
No problem. Thank you.
Bye.